Ah. Hmm. All right. Here we go, back again on the other side of the coin. All right, welcome back to the other side of the coin, ladies and gentlemen. There's a lot of things happening in regards to Paulo Dybala. Looks like Thiago Silva has endorsed this particular move of Paulo Dybala to Chelsea Football Club. Let's see if it actually materializes to that situation. But Thiago Silva was in F1 in Silverstone today, which is in, I believe, in Britain. London somewhere, I think. Yeah, but anyway, F1 in England, and Thiago Silva was there. Paulo Dybala was there, and these are some of the comments that's been coming out of Thiago Silva's mouth, ladies and gentlemen. And Thiago Silva is not holding back. He's putting himself out there. Not many players will actually do this, but Thiago Silva is putting his feelings right there in front of everyone to see. And let's see how Paulo Dybala reacts to this down the track, ladies and Thiago Silva. I saw Paulo Dybala here. They talk about him at Chelsea. I hope he arrives. They talk about him at Chelsea. Thiago Silva, what are you doing? In the know. Agent Thiago Silva in the house, ladies and gentlemen. He's in public to the media saying, I saw Paulo Dybala here. They talk about him in Chelsea. I hope he arrives. He is not holding back one bit. Further goes on to say, I've asked Paulo Dybala. He's actually even gone ahead and asked Dybala if it's true that he's coming to Chelsea, but he didn't answer. He's a top player. He'd be a massive signing for us. I'd like it. This is from Fabrizio Romano. Look, I like this. I like this attitude from Thiago Silva. He is most likely going to be our captain for the upcoming season. If you guys have seen recently what he did, I think it might have been yesterday, Nkunku on Instagram, still enjoying his holidays, and Thiago Silva commenting. It was a bit of fun and games, obviously, commenting, still on holiday, buddy, with the angry emoji, and then he's like, time to get to work. And then today, we saw Nkunku in the gym, and he's got a picture where he's doing some workout, and right at the bottom he's got tagged Thiago Silva, back to work. So, I think players will enjoy his captaincy. I think he will enjoy the captaincy as well. And I like the fact that he's so bold, and he's heard some things, obviously, internally. He might have even heard some things from Pochettino, and he's come out here on public at F1, and he's seen Paulo Dybala, and he wants Paulo Dybala at Chelsea Football Club. Look, ladies and gentlemen, Paulo Dybala, there is no doubt about his quality and his ability. He is a sensational footballer. I saw a lot of Paulo Dybala last season, amidst all of the injuries that he had. He's a creative player. He's technically very gifted. He can finish as well. But for me, he's a number 10. He's more of a creator as opposed to an out-and-out goal scorer. He can be very, very good in set pieces, whether it's corners, whether it's free kicks. But it feels like he's a type of player, like he can just create something out of nothing sometimes. So a player like him, of course, I would love to see him at Chelsea Football Club. I didn't know that he was 29 already. For some reason, I still kept thinking he's 26, 27. But he's 29, so there's a wealth of experience there. He was crucial for Roma last season for their run in Europa League final. Sad that they didn't get there in the finish line, and Sevilla ended up winning that. He was very good in Juventus as well. The biggest concern with Dybala is his injuries, his injury history. This is what ruined him in Juventus. This is what got him last season as well, where he missed about 18 matches. And the matches that he played, a lot of them were, with injury. He could not finish the entire 90 minutes. But at a paltry 12 million euros, release clause. Apparently, that's the release clause. The release clause for Italian clubs, I believe, is 20 million euros, but the release clause for foreign clubs is 12 million. That's the condition that he has on the contract. At a paltry 12 million euros release clause, honestly, I think the risk is worth it, considering the reward that you could get out of it. Next season, we don't have that many games as well, so it shouldn't be a case where we need to use Dybala aggressively in every single game. I think Dybala, at the age of 29, will probably also understand that he's not, and also with his injury history, he should understand that he's not going to play every single game. But I think it's worth having that quality depth in our team. And someone who's currently, I think, on 6 million euros wages. So a lot of people are a bit concerned about his wage. What is he going to demand at Chelsea Football Club? I don't think he's going to demand much more than 6 million. If anything, maybe 7, 8 million, even that. 8 million euros, that's not that much. I think that keeps within our wage structure. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, for me, for the risk and the reward, like the reward far outweighs the risk here. So I don't mind this one bit. Pochettino seems to want this player, has some sort of a keen eye on him. Obviously, Argentinian background, so countryman. And yeah, that experience and that know-how will be very, very good for the youngsters that we have. I think someone that young players can to a certain degree look up to as well. So look, I've got no issues about this. I can at times even picture Nkunku playing up front and Dybala just behind him, or even vice versa. It might not be the regular selection, but every now and then I could picture us playing something like that. And also at times purely to use Dybala as Nkunku's rotational piece. So I'm all up for it, if I'm being absolutely honest, because as I said, the reward far outweighs the risk. Ladies and gentlemen, you let me know how you feel about this particular player. Would you be keen to have Dybala at Chelsea Football Club? It looks like Thiago Silva is very, very keen about it as well. He's pretty much endorsed his move. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, a little bit of news in regards to Moses Caicedo. Very interesting news, actually. The Moses Caicedo deal is not about the final number, but more payment structure. Insiders say Chelsea are still pushing for around the 80 million mark, but if the deal ends up near 100 million, then Chelsea will have a better payment structure. It's very strange how this entire tweet is worded. So we want 80 million, right? But if we give them 100 million, then we get our favorable payment structure. So we're in a massive conundrum here. At 80 million, I think it might have to be all upfront, predominantly upfront, maybe in 2 installments where predominantly it's upfront. And at 100 million, maybe we get to have several installments. So what does Chelsea Football Club do here? Do we pay the 100 million and have a longer paying term, or do we pay the 80 million but pay a lot up front? So people in the background who are involved in the accounts side of things, who are much more aware of where our situation is in terms of FFP for the coming financial year. Obviously, the last financial year closed at 30th of June, so whatever we needed to balance had to be balanced by then. Now the new financial year starts. We don't want to make sure we blow out this situation too much. Obviously, we expect a lot more revenue, hopefully coming through this season, but then again, may not, because we don't have Europe. So it all comes down to what level of sponsorships and this, that, the other that we get. We don't have a sponsor as yet. So maybe Chelsea are probably going to look at this situation and think, look, we don't want to outlay too much upfront. Maybe it's better to have a longer payment structure or pay more. So I don't know. How do you go about this situation? Obviously, Chelsea don't want to pay 100 million, but Brighton once again they've done the trick on us. They've reversed. They've played the reverse Uno card on us, and now it's something for us to think about. All I can say, ladies and gentlemen, this player has to be a Chelsea player in this upcoming week, the new week that's coming up for us. I'm already on Monday. A lot of you guys will come into Monday tomorrow. We need this player to be a Chelsea player this particular week. He has to be in the plane for the USA tour. So let me know once again, what would you select, ladies and gentlemen, out of this? See, with me, I can't make a proper judgment on this, because it all depends on where our accounts, where the books are at the moment. Are we better off paying the 100 but paying it in a longer term so it doesn't hurt us that much financially, but you do pay up more? Or do we pay more right now where it could potentially hurt us financially up front, but a reduced price? So once, as I said, it's a conundrum. Let me know in the comment section what you think about this situation. Next up, Inter Milan are structuring a bid that will be worth about 35 million for Romelu Lukaku, inclusive of bonuses, and hope that will be enough to convince Chelsea. Lukaku has reassured Inter that he has no intention of moving to Juventus, however, and has not accepted an offer from Al Hilal as he focuses on returning to Inter Milan. Look, 35 million, worth about 35 million, inclusive of bonus. So not even 35 million plus bonuses and so on and so forth. Nah, man, look, you guys have screwed us. You want this player badly. He wants you guys badly. Now you come to our terms. I love the way how we are very, very strong about this situation, because we don't necessarily have to send him back to Inter Milan. We can send him to Saudi Arabia. They're willing to pay us good money for this particular player. And if the player doesn't agree on Saudi Arabia, well, then rot, absolutely rot, my man, rot in not even in the bench, rot anywhere else but at Chelsea Football Club. Look, I think if Inter Milan can stump about 40 million plus add-ons, so 40 million upfront fee plus add-ons, taking it up to 45 million, we still make a loss, but I think that's a deal that we can perhaps be okay with. 35 million, that's once again paltry, very, very paltry, inclusive of bonuses. No, that ain't gonna work out. I'm sorry, simple as ain't gonna work out. So yeah, Inter Milan, you're gonna get decent amount of money for Andre Onana's deal. You already got quite a bit of money for Brozovic going to Saudi Arabia. So there shouldn't be any issues in regards to money for you anymore. You give us what we desire for this particular player. Don't forget, you've absolutely scammed us in this situation. Chelsea can't wait to get rid of Lukaku, but on their terms, 35 million plus bonuses. He only wants Inter, not Juventus. This is from Alfredo Padella. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, intermediaries have moved to express the interest from Chelsea and Pochettino in Dusan Vlahovic. Next week, possible club-to-club contact to discuss the feasibility. There's some rumors going around he could potentially be gone for about 70 million euros. I mean, look, I feel like Pochettino has an eye at the moment to get a striker. He is concerned where the goals are going to come from. Obviously, he's going to have a look in the preseason how the entire playing group turns out in the preseason and what level of performances that they can produce. I feel like he does want a particular striker. All the strikers that we have, they're very, very young. Armando Broja, we'll see how he comes back from the injury. David Datro Fofana news will be coming up. He's gone on loan. Nicholas Jackson, still young as well. So asking, really relying on him to deliver for us next season in 20-25 goals. It's probably a bit too much. Someone like Dusan Vlahovic, look, I'm not entirely convinced. I don't mind him. I don't think he's a bad player. But if I really want a particular Serbian player, I'd probably think about Mitrovic. But then again, that's not a long-term solution either. Look, Vlahovic, maybe it is Allegri tax in AC Milan that in Juventus that he's faced so far. In Fiorentina, he was unbelievable. He was magnificent. So maybe he could rekindle that at Chelsea Football Club under Pochettino. He will have a lot of quality in and around him to give him the best chance to succeed at Chelsea Football Club. I feel like he still lacks in certain departments. I don't know why I get this vibe that he could flop in the Premier League. But look, if it happens, fair enough. Obviously, I'll back the player and I'll hope that he does well. But I'm not convinced with any of these players, if I'm being absolutely honest. Vlahovic, Lautaro Martinez, a few other players that have been put. Colomani is probably one that I would throw the dice at. Someone like Colomani, for me, feels like far more well-rounded as opposed to Martinez and Vlahovic. Victor Osimhen, obviously, that would be the number one target, but the money for Victor Osimhen is way too much. I know some of you guys are very keen on Vlahovic, and you think that this could potentially work out. Look, let's see what happens. It all comes down to the price. It all comes down to wages as well for this brother. I'm not entirely convinced. Matthias França is really appreciated. He's a player that they have been following for a long time. I can mention that the player will be really excited about the possibility of joining Chelsea. So it looks like he's keen on joining Chelsea. And we're deep in discussions of getting this particular player. A lot of people have been saying he may not be a loaned out player. He's actually been looked at as a first team player for us, more of an attacking midfielder. So I guess we need to decide how many attacking midfielders do we really want. We're linked with Dybala. We're now linked with Matthias França. There's Ryan Cherki as well. So I don't expect us to get all of these players. Maybe one maximum. To be honest, I don't even think we're going to get two. So we have to decide. Look, for me, if it's between Dybala, França, and Ryan Cherki, I think you'd go with someone like Ryan Cherki, who's young. The ceiling, the potential is quite high. We seem to have a bit of good relationship with Lyon as well. So someone like Ryan Cherki could potentially be fantastic in the Premier League. So look, let's see what happens with Matthias França. Let's see what we do in midfield. But we do need that Caicedo deal to happen first up before we can even think about all of these stuff down the track. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, David Datro Fofana is set to join Union Berlin on loan. The German Bundesliga team, who's done very well last season. I don't remember exactly where they ended up finishing, but they did very, very well. And even in Europe, they did very well. So it looks like David Datro Fofana will be moving there. The loan has no option to buy. Talks are ongoing and positive, and all parties involved are confident of finalizing the deal. Fantastic to hear. David Datro Fofana, so it's coming from Fabrizio Romano as well. That one was from Florian Plettenberg. And when it comes to German news, Florian Plettenberg is all over it. But Fabrizio Romano is backing this situation as well. David Datro Fofana, one step away from joining Union Berlin on loan. Chelsea and Union are at a final stages of the negotiation as called by Bild. Loan deal won't include any buy option clause. Final green light from the player is now expected soon. So look, ladies and gentlemen, all I'm going to say is that I hope we have a plan for David Datro Fofana. I hope he's not one of those players that turns out to be, a loan merchant, just gets thrown around to this team, to that team. First of all, I think a loan is probably prudent. It's still early stages for him in his career. So go out there, absolutely annihilate it in the Bundesliga, score goals, score a ton, a bucket load of goals, so that you put yourself into conversation for next season, after this coming season, that you should be considered at Chelsea Football Club. So from the bits and pieces that we've all seen last season, he looked good. He really did look good. And I'm a bit annoyed that he didn't see more minutes as opposed to Kai Havertz, who kept on getting minutes, who ends up going to Arsenal Football Club anyway. And he was absolutely stinking up the gaff at Chelsea Football Club last season. So would have loved to see David Datro Fofana a little bit more, but it is what it is. We move. He's gone out alone, and then I'll definitely have one keen eye on Union Berlin. Watch alongs 100% on Union Berlin to see how this player does. I hope he gets a lot of minutes, and I hope he is a mega success over there. But once again, with these sort of scenarios, hopefully the player doesn't end up falling in love with that particular club and then wants to end up staying there. Some of our recent loanees, when they go to these clubs and they do well, they tend to create some sort of a good relationship with that club, and then their head is turned. So hopefully we are always on top and keeping up with what Fofana is doing, always having a conversation. I think it's very important. Not just sending a player out on a loan, but also on a regular basis, checking up on the player, just to show that, hey, we see you, we notice you, and we still think about you at Chelsea. Well, as soon as you don't have any communication, you kind of let the player go, much like, for example, Callum Hudson-Odoi. I think even to a certain degree, Lewa Colwill in the early stages, we probably didn't keep too much information about him. Players, they then tend to forget about, Ian Martin's another one. I don't think we kept too much information about him. I think these were some of the stuff that was getting written in the articles, that players don't feel like Chelsea want them. So let's see what happens with David Datro Fofana. I hope we do the right thing. Last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, our kit, our home kit has finally been leaked by Feroz. If you don't follow Feroz on social media, go and follow him on Twitter. There's his handle over there. Feroz has been able to leak the jersey, and this is the 90s, all of that 90s tweet that was coming out from Chelsea, Nintendo and PlayStation, this, that, the other. This looks like a very, very good kit. I can't even lie, man. That gold badge, the design, yeah, I think someone said it was a 1998 design that Chelsea had, similar like this. This looks amazing. Obviously, once we get that sponsor in the front of the shirt and hopefully a sponsor in the sleeves as well, that's going to look epic. But I like these, ladies and gentlemen. Honestly, it looks epic, man. I cannot wait to get this jersey on my hands very, very soon. So fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you think about everything we've gone through, the kit as well that's been leaked, the pictures, Thiago Silva's endorsement of Dybala. That's the huge news. Let me know in the comment section how you feel about that. Hope you guys have enjoyed this. Smash a like button. If you're here for the first time, subscribe, hit the bell notification to stay in touch with all my content. Until next time, see ya.